Blog Talk Radio.
Hey, it worked. We're back. Hi, welcome
Yay!
to Psychic Tapestry. I'm Ken Kessler, and the yay was from Toni DeMaio. Hi, Toni.
Hi, Ken, and hi, everybody. So glad to be back.
We had some technical problems last week,
Halloween.
and it seemed to be a Blog Talk Radio issue because nobody could connect. So glad that that's not happening now, and we're all here. So thanks for coming back and finding us again. By the way, and this is a silly thing, but if you follow us on Blog Talk Radio, then you'll get notified when new episodes are coming. So when things like what happened last week happen, you'll get a notification that the show's been rescheduled for today. So, we don't, I'm subscribed to a million things, so I know many of you are probably going, the last thing I need to do is subscribe to one more thing. But if you want to, it's not really subscribing. If you want to follow us, that'd be cool. And then you'll know. So there. Not really a pitch, but just wanted to let you know. We are live.
Yes.
It is Tuesday, October 17th, more than halfway through October already. 2 weeks from tonight is Halloween night, if you can believe it. Wow.
Yes.
It's just flying by. Phone lines are open. 347-838-9903 is the number. There are a bunch of people already hanging on. So if you wanted to call in, sooner is better than later. You can also connect through social media, facebook.com/Psychic Tapestry or @Psychic Tapestry on Twitter. And if you are on your computer, your desktop or laptop, whatever, on the Blog Talk Radio website, you can scroll down, pop in the chat room, and join me there. I haven't said this in a while, so I'll go ahead and say it again. If you're using the app, I don't think the chat room is accessible. And it's not a glitch or anything. It just wasn't made that way. So, and as always, if you are using the app and you can get into the chat room, let me know, and I will apologize and take all that back. I'm not really apologizing, and I'm not wailing on Blog Talk Radio about this. I think it's just the way the app was made, that the chat room wasn't part of it. So there. Phone is the best because you're going to have follow-up questions for us, and we may have them for you, and the back and forth of that conversation is a lot easier on the phone, but you could be working, or maybe you don't like the way your voice sounds on the radio, or you're shy, or you like the anonymity of social media or the chat room, or maybe it's something else that we haven't even thought of. Whatever the case, that's why those other options are available to you. So last week, we were planning to talk about intuition.
Right.
And then it didn't work. So, but we're going to revisit that tonight. And we're not really even revisiting it because we didn't get a chance to last week.
Yeah.
Last week, Toni had you. Did you share this or did I share it?
Which?
The intuition thing.
Which? Oh, you shared it and said that you'd like to talk about this.
I shared this thing that I found on the Healing Energy Tools Facebook page. Mm-hmm. And it's a pretty green background, and it says, "Listen to your intuition. Your instincts will never fail you. Step up in your vibration and stand in your truth." And I thought, that's some really good stuff, important, good advice. And especially if you're new, if you're just starting out on your path or you're early on, some of it's tricky. So I thought we would talk about these things and give you our take on them and maybe some advice on how to do it. So the first one, listen to your intuition. Toni, what, for anybody who doesn't know, what would you say intuition is?
Intuition is that thing that everybody has. I mean, you're all born with it. It's that knowing feeling. Animals have it, and that's how they survive, by knowing that something's going to happen. I mean, you can tell when there's a storm, all the birds, can feel it before the sky even changes. They start to act crazy and start going different places. Animal like shamans would be able to tell you more about that because they're so connected to the animals. But
I remember somebody telling
humans,
me.
We have, yeah.
I remember somebody telling me that intuition is basically you knowing something that you have no reason to know, no empirical
Not your
evidence,
business.
nothing, but you just know it. And I would say that to people, and they would, yeah, right, like that exists.
Yeah.
But if you think about it, every mother has that.
Every
because
mom
moms
has it.
know
People that
what
are
their
in
kids
love have it.
Yeah. Moms know what you're up to. No
Yep.
matter how quiet you are or how quiet you think you are, they know.
Yeah.
When you're a little kid, they know. And when you are older and adult-shaped and out on your own, your mom will call sometime because she knows that something's up with you.
That's right. And boy, do my kids get mad when I do that.
And we all know that, and we all accept it. Mm-hmm. But then when you say, and we call it mother's intuition, but when you talk about intuition being something that when you really have no way of knowing, people want to laugh that off. But that's true. The other thing that I think a lot of people can relate to is when you're driving. You're driving on the highway, and here comes a car, and they're going to cut you off. You know it. Mm-hmm. You have no reason to, but you just know they're going to cut you off, or
get
that
into
they're not
the rhythm of the road. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and you know what the cars are going to do.
And but you just know. And people say, well, I've been driving a long time. I have experience. I can tell. Yeah, you can tell because it's your intuition.
It's your intuition. Absolutely.
Yeah. But a lot of times what those other drivers are going to do.
Just before they do it. Mm-hmm.
The trick is listening to your intuition. Now, when you're on the road, you pay attention to your intuition. You don't realize you're doing it, but you're ready to hit the brake or whatever you need to do if you know that guy is going to cut you off, and you don't think twice about it. But when it gets into something else, we second guess ourselves. We don't have the confidence to trust it. And Toni and I were talking about this just before this podcast started tonight, about ways that you can build your confidence and learn to trust it. And Toni, didn't you have a suggestion?
Yes, I do. I teach psychic development monthly, and this is because I was teaching or making Reiki masters for so many years, and Reiki opens your abilities. So people would then call me and say, I'm seeing dead people, or I know things I've never known before. Can you help me with this? Because I don't know what to do with it, because they're scared because they're adults and suddenly they have abilities they didn't know they had, because their abilities have sharpened. But, of course, they always had intuition. So I have everyone new, especially, keep a journal and write down those hits, those intuitive hits. Let's say, for instance, everybody's had this experience. The phone rings, and before you look at the caller ID, you know who it is. That's an intuitive hit. Or if you think about somebody you haven't talked to in 20 years, and they call you later that day, or reach out on Facebook, or something happens, those are all examples of it. So you would write that in your journal, and then later on, every month, you go over it, and you can see your percentage of correctness in your intuition. It's a very easy way to gain confidence because we all have it. Absolutely. 100%.
It's a great way. And
it is. Yeah.
And when you can, and it does give you that feeling of confidence because it's tough. It's tough learning to listen and to pay attention to it. One of the things that I had somebody suggest to me, it's my friend Loretta Schmidt, who is a psychic medium back in San Diego, and she said, get a regular deck of cards, just a regular deck of playing cards, and shuffle them real well. And then with them face down, before you turn over each card, you decide if it's going to be red or if it's going to be black.
I love that.
So simple.
I did that with my kids. Yeah.
And you just turn it over and you go through the deck and you keep track.
Yep. And
it's another way that you can start to get confident, and you'll see the numbers go up.
Absolutely.
And you do. And you'll learn what that feels like when before you turn the card over and you can and you get that hint. I know this is going to be black, and you turn it over.
And there it is.
I feel like when she told me that, I feel like I was cheating, because when I would do it, I would sometimes hear Johnny Cash in my head, and I knew that meant it was black because he was the man in black.
The man in black, yeah. That's good.
So, but whatever, I mean, it wasn't really cheating, but whatever works for you, because we're all different and we all do things differently. But just a regular deck of playing cards, you can get them anywhere. Doesn't matter. You don't have to spend a whole lot. Just a regular deck of regular playing cards, shuffle them up, and just do that and keep track. And maybe do it once or twice a day, or once or twice every other day. Don't make it feel like homework. Just
make it fun.
Sort of,
and when you
sort of
just
a relaxing
do it with yourself, no one has to know. Just relax and literally, go with your first instinct on it. Is always the best way.
And
in psychic development, we're also using. I got a roulette wheel on Amazon. So we're doing red and black for 10 numbers each class. 10 spins, and then I had them put down a number if they got a hit on a number. And I'm telling you, that whole class was way above average. I had people 70-80% correct, and they got some of the numbers. Not all the numbers, but so I couldn't believe it. So that's a really good way to test yourself at home.
Hey, we're not trying to
on Amazon. It's really into gambling.
We're not trying to get you primed to go to Vegas, but these are just some simple ways. And with it, don't beat yourself up if you're wrong every time. When you go through a whole 52 card deck and you're wrong,
that'd be amazing for them to be wrong that many times. That just means
probably
they're nervous.
won't be. But just pay attention to what it feels like when you just sort of let go and, okay, this one's going to be red. And it is red. Try and pay attention and tap into that feeling and go back there. And once you start to develop that, you will see your numbers increase. And maybe down the road, after you've done that a while, if you start to feel really confident about it, maybe try and get the suits. It's going to be red. It's going to be diamonds. But feel it. The important thing is to remember what it feels like. But those are just a couple easy ways to sort of get an idea of what the intuition feels like and how you feel when you trust it. Your instincts will never fail you. That's the next line on this one. And this really goes well with intuition.
I agree.
And animals are so good at this. If you're a dog person and you know your dog, and they don't like somebody, that immediately it carries weight with you, and you get it. There's a reason the dog picked something up, and it's the same thing. You get hits on people all the time when you meet somebody, and we want to dismiss them because I don't know who this person is, and I don't want to jump to conclusions, have a give them a bad first impression, or they could have had a bad night, they could have had what's going on in their life, whatever. So we're very quick to talk ourselves out of things, but your instincts will never fail you.
That's right.
If you get a feeling, you have to learn to trust it. I don't know that I have an idea on something you can do to sort of practice that. Do you?
On making, yes. I think that your first impression is almost always right. And you could write that in your journal, too. If you meet somebody new, write your first impression, go back and look. I know for me, my first impression is always right. I know a bunch of people that would agree with that. So I think that we're always, just like the animals, taking in all sorts of information that's on an intuitive level, especially when you meet someone new. Yeah. I don't know if I ever told you the story about my daughter Tiffany and the serial killer. Did I tell you about that?
No, but you have to now.
Okay. I have to now. All right. When she was a young adult in her 20s, she met some of her friends, and this was in the Pocono Mountains of Pennsylvania. And one of the roads that goes straight through the Poconos is Route 80. You've probably heard of it. And it goes all the way up to Canada, actually, probably straight across the country. And so anyway, there was a serial killer working the area, and he was cutting women up and putting them in garbage bags and dropping them out of his truck. It turned out to be a truck driver, but they didn't know at the time, along the side of Route 80. And he would spread them across the states as he was going up and back and forth. And nobody had gotten away from him, so there was no description or anything. Well, Tiffany met some friends at a steakhouse on a main road there in the Poconos. And she was up at the bar getting drinks for her table. And this just nondescript man, came up next to her, and all the hair on her body stood up.
Wow.
And she looked over at him. He was smiling at her. There was nothing scary about this guy, but he asked her if he could join her group, and she just said, no, we're about to leave. We're going to leave anyway, and she got away, and she left, and she went and sat down, and she told them, we have to leave now. They just left everything there. They paid the bill. They walked out. They were all mindful about if anybody followed them. Well, they caught the guy in another month, and there was his picture on the TV. Tiffany almost fainted. She goes, that's the guy that I told you about that came into the bar and sat next to me and tried to talk to me, and I knew something was wrong with him. I said, well, that's a gift, don't ever, you didn't cut him a break. She's a Capricorn. Capricorns are very good as a group. If you're all listening, all you Capricorns, I'm telling the truth. You listen to your first impression, and they do that naturally. So she didn't cut him a break and say, yeah, you can come sit with us. Nope. She just knew. And Tiffany is very friendly and has a million friends, so it isn't that she's standoffish. But I will never forget that. She doesn't even think that's a big deal. But I do.
Yeah.
I think that's a really big deal. And that really scared me. And I had been terrified that she was going to run into this guy. I cannot tell you how I had to use every bit of my skills not to jump out of my skin every day. I just knew this man was around the Poconos. I could feel it.
Wow.
Yeah. But anyway, he's gone, long gone, just a long time ago. But yeah. So if you ever get a creepy feeling, get out of there. You know?
And it's not
You're better off.
It's not just about people.
No.
We get these feelings about cars when you're looking to buy a car.
Yeah.
When you're looking to rent or buy a house. Almost any situation, job offers, you get a feel for the person that you're talking to, whether it's the person you're going to be working for or whether it's somebody in human resources or whatever. You get that kind of information is coming to you all the time. And we're so quick to just dismiss it. If it's a job interview, it's nerves, or it's my ego, or I don't care, I need this job. And we do the same thing. It's a really good deal on this car. I know it's not the best car, but it's a really good price. This is what I can afford. I'm tired of looking. I know I have a bad feeling about it. Gonna do it. Mm-hmm. And then, and a lot of us have paid that price when you get that thing home and the car, in 30 days or so, the car is costing you a fortune. And you're like, oh, I should have listened. I knew. I just knew. But you have to trust that stuff. And this is another thing, like Toni was saying, that a journal is a great idea to keep that, because once you start compiling a track record and you can look at it, it does build your confidence. It does. It's like nothing else. And it helps you to sort of tap into that and to trust it. Okay, the next part of this.
100%.
Step up in your vibration.
I love that.
Okay, well, what does that even mean?
Yes, a lot of people struggle with that. I think we each are vibrating at a certain level. And the way the universe works, we can only have what we are vibrating at that same level. So if you want something that's beyond your vibration, you have to raise your vibration. How do we raise our vibration? By loving. Loving is the highest vibration. Laughter is a high vibration. Joy. Any of those positive emotions or feelings. That all works. And YouTube has music that's free that will raise your vibration and make you feel all of those things, and it messes with your brain in a good way. It's like a shortcut. So you can do any of those things to raise your vibration. But usually if you want something really bad and you're not getting it because you're not vibrating high enough to attain it. And the same goes for love. You have to vibrate at a higher rate of a higher vibration to attract a high vibrational love.
The energy that you put out into the universe attracts similar energy back to you.
Yep.
So if you are freaking out about bills, and the universe isn't trying to hate on you, but if the energy you're putting out is just all about all these bills coming, the universe is going to go, oh, he wants bills. Here you go. And your next trip out to the mailbox is going to be so sad. And it's very easy for me on the side of your computer to say, so don't do that. But be mindful of putting that kind of energy out there. And the energy you want to put out there is that abundance finds you everywhere.
Yep. Everywhere.
And that's the kind of thing. And it doesn't. This doesn't need to just be all about the money, but that's just an example. whatever it is that you want. But fear and doubt are make us our own worst enemy.
Yep.
And
100%.
it's hard to get around those sometimes. It just is. It's something that you have to work at, and just be mindful of it and recognize when it's happening, and try and eliminate that. Okay, I am concerned about my financial obligations. We all are concerned in varying degrees, but and it doesn't have to be, but I want to win the lottery, because there's part of you that knows that you're not going to win the lottery. But you don't have to know how abundance is coming for you, coming to you. Just trust that it is. And this isn't some kind of Pollyanna thing where I'm saying just go around all the time going la la la.
It honestly works, though. If you really believe it really does work.
It does.
I mean, also track records. Like, remember 10 years ago you were worried about something, the same thing, and you made it through, and you found a way, and things showed up like magic. And you know, the older we get, we have a better track record of survival and getting through things and handling things. So I think that helps to look back on your own track record and say, you're good at this stuff. You've been surviving. You made it this far. You'll be fine. It'll all work out.
That's so great. Just think about where you were even a year ago.
Yeah.
Or farther back, and you know that past you used to wish they could be where you are right now.
That's right.
And when
Look
you
at
start
all the stuff that worked out.
Yeah, when you start to feel that builds your confidence. That helps you raise your vibration.
I agree.
I'm not suggesting that you should never have a negative thought or never doubt yourself, because that's just not realistic. That's going to happen. But when you start to be mindful of it, start to be mindful of it and recognize it, you can eliminate it. When those thoughts come to you, you can push them away. You can ask your guides and angels to help you and push those thoughts away. And I know that whatever I need for my highest good is coming. So I don't need to worry about this. And ask for help. Asking angels for help is a great way to raise your vibration too.
It is. Yes, it is.
And you don't have to know any particular magic words or phrases. You don't have to know particular angels' names. I mean, if you do, that's great. But if you don't, they don't care. That's important to us.
Nope.
But you can ask healing angels, helping angels, whatever kind of angels.
Angels for love.
Yeah.
They'll bring you love too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they love to
bring me
That's why they're
peace.
here. Yeah.
Yeah.
We're all doing that now.
Any of that. And again, you don't have to be perfect at this right away. And this doesn't mean that you do this, nothing bad will ever happen to you. But what it does mean is that you will develop skills for dealing with that. When something does happen, you'll be able to work your way through it and make the best of it and bring in the energy that you need to take care of it.
Absolutely.
And then the last thing on this,
100%.
stand in your truth.
Yes.
What does that mean to you?
That's powerful. I think it means, for me, standing in my truth means that I know who I am, I know my limitations, and I know my strengths. I own who I am. It can mean a lot of different things, but that's what came to mind when you asked me. What does it mean to you?
Accepting who I am, loving who I am.
Yeah.
And this doesn't have to be shouting from the rooftops, but start with just you and accept that you're amazing. And you have lots of good qualities. And maybe there are a couple things you need to work on. I know there are more than a couple that I need to work on. But I get that I have value, that and I know what's important to me, and I know who's important to me, and I know things that I can do to demonstrate my love for those people, and I accept that. That doesn't mean that I'm always in a great mood. I've become a really bad morning person, and my first 45 minutes to an hour in the morning, I don't want to deal with anybody. And I walk my dog, and I take my dog to work with me every day, and he gets me in a good mood. He snuggles up next to me on the car ride, and he loves me, and he makes me feel better about myself. He was a difficult rescue dog who was abused and abandoned time and time again, and I am the only human that he likes. And that means so much to me. I feel so lucky that I get that, and I feel like this is somebody who has been through some rough times, and he picked me, and that makes me feel pretty darn good about myself. And if he likes me, there has to be something likable about me, and that little silly thing can lift me up when I need it. And go, you know what? I'm good. I'm worthy. And I know what I'm about, and I know what I need to work on. And even so, the things I need to work on, and sometimes there are a lot of them, none of that detracts from my value. It's all part of my package, and I accept that. And that's not always easy. I don't know if there's something that you can do to sort of practice that. I think it's just an ongoing thing that you just need to accept who you are. Not just accept it, but love yourself. Love yourself for who you are, not in spite of it. I used to say that when I was looking for love, I was looking for someone who knew me and loved me anyway. And everybody would laugh at that. Yeah. But that's what I thought it was.
That's sweet.
What I found was that I was so fortunate to find someone who loved me, not in spite of who I was, but because of who I am. And that makes a world of difference. And I hope that you are fortunate enough to find someone like that. I wish that for everybody who can hear my voice, whether it's tonight or whether it's on this podcast a week, a month, a year from now, because that is something that also lifts me up, because I think a lot of her. And if she believes in me, then, I mean, she's not stupid.
No,
so,
she's not.
Although sometimes I question her judgment, but
no, she's not. No, she's wonderful. You have a wonderful wife.
And I know that everybody who's listening to this is not in a relationship, or maybe not in a great relationship, and you're hearing this and you're like, no, great. So
you're giving them hope.
Yeah,
Yes.
I hope that I am.
You are.
But all of this stuff that we've been talking about takes time, and stand in your truth. You are worth it. You are worth taking the time to know yourself, to like yourself, and to love yourself. You are worth it. And one of the things I know we always tell people who call up who are looking for love is that you got to figure out a way to love yourself before you can really expect somebody else to love you.
That is so true.
It is. And that's standing in your truth. So there. I'll post this. I'll post this thing again when we get finished here. I'll post it on our social media again, so everybody can see it and work through these 4 things. I think these are great, and it's a terrific way to move along your path and to help you figure out whatever it is you need to figure out.
That's right.
And
that was great. I like that we did that. I think that helped people.
And
feels good.
Yeah, it does. With all of that said, let's take some calls. 347-838-9903 is our number. And before we grab the phones, we should explain ourselves. So, Toni, who are you? Why are you here? And what are you going to do?
Okay. I am Toni DeMaio. I'm a psychic, an author, a Reiki master, all kinds of things. But for tonight, I'm going to put on my psychic hat, raise up my psychic sensors, and do my specialty, which is speaking through the guides, getting the answers through my guide, who can go anywhere in the world and very quickly confer with your guide and get you the answers that you need to anything. And I call that an angel spirit guide connection reading. So that's what I'm doing, helping you to connect to your own guides through the my gifts. That's what we're going to do.
Cool.
And now it's your turn, Ken.
Okay. I'm Ken Kessler. I'm a psychic medium. I also push the buttons and fly the plane here. And I'm a music intuitive. I get most of my information from music, as I was alluding to earlier when I was talking about the deck of cards and Johnny Cash. For the purposes of tonight's podcast, I have a playlist going with 5,266 songs on it. And it's funny, Johnny Cash is playing right now. I started it before we began randomly shuffling and invited my guides and angels and your guides and angels to give me the song that is for you, and then I'll tell you what's playing and what I think it means for you. And all of that's well and good, but my just saying Johnny Cash, Ring of Fire, could instantly mean something to you that's different than what I say, and that's okay. That's part of the intuitive hit thing we were talking about. Sometimes angels and spirit like to use what's in our heads as the readers to trigger in you what you need to know. And sometimes that could be as simple as my saying Ring of Fire by Johnny Cash. I think it's kind of funny that Johnny's playing right now since I was talking about him.
Oh, that's amazing. He's really active today.
The other thing I think is kind of interesting is when I was getting ready for tonight's podcast, I was guided to share a song on social media, and that usually happens on days when we're doing a podcast, and I post it and I say that if this pops up in your feed, the message is for you. And the interesting thing is that it really ties into what we were talking about with a song that I posted 2 or 3 hours ago was I've Come a Long Way by Wilson Pickett.
Oh.
And we were
Yes.
just talking about that just a little while ago, about how recognizing that maybe you aren't where you want to be, but you aren't where you were. And you should give yourself some credit for that. So
I agree.
So with all of that said, and it was a lot, let's start grabbing some phone calls. 347-838-9903 is our number. Hi, thanks so much for hanging on. What's your first name?
Hi, this is Mike.
Hi, Mike. Where are you calling from?
I am in northern Arizona.
And how can we help you tonight?
So, my sales job, I've been doing the RV nomadic experience for the past few months. I had some, I'm kind of like in between Flagstaff and Sedona right now, and just hanging out in the woods. And I was just about to light a campfire, so it's funny that you brought up Johnny Cash's Ring of Fire. So I was just almost getting ready to do that.
That's so cool.
And I love this life. So, and my previous sales job was a remote sales job, but they made changes to the comp plan, and literally 60% of the sales team have left in the past 3 to 4 months. So, but I have an idea for a business, but it would require me to, not be in nature.
Right.
I would basically an elevated food cart type of thing. And so I'm in Arizona, but I was thinking about if I was to do that, maybe go to Corpus Christi, Texas, because it's affordable. It's affordable beach living in Corpus Christi.
Yes, it is. Absolutely.
Compared to California or Florida.
Right.
So I'm kind of wondering what you kind of pick up. I have been applying to some jobs.
I like your idea about the food truck. I really love that for you. And I have a card for you that I just pulled, and it's perfect. The Magician. And this card is telling you that this is the right time to begin your dream project. If you have any doubts about your ability to manifest your dreams, leave them behind you. Because the more self-confidence you have, the more success you will experience. And fortunately, the angels can boost your inner strength if you will call upon them for help, like Ken was saying earlier. Ask for a food truck angel to help you manifest this. I love it. Although you may not feel ready to move forward upon your path, you are actually more prepared than you know. Your life experiences have trained you for this moment, and the opportunities available to you at this time are magical. It's not necessary to take any more classes or read any more books, which would only delay you from walking through the door that's presently opening for you. Take focused action with respect to any plans you may have been preparing for. So no more procrastination. Believe in the magic, and you will receive unexpected resources. You might even get somebody to invest in that, I'm thinking. And I believe it's going to fall into place for you. Network the idea with some of your friends that you already have, but I love it. And I feel like you are in the most magical place right now. And it's just feeding your soul. And you're getting so inspired.
It's funny because I bought about 3 weeks ago. I found a deal on a large cart. It's basically a hot dog cart. So I just saw the opportunity, and I'm just like, I got the cash, so why don't I just buy it? And worst case scenario, just put it in storage if I have to. But no, I've already taken the steps, and it's just a matter of moving. But I'm in the RV, so see, I have a dog,
I love it.
and doing the RV thing, again, I would still want to do the RV thing a little bit in the beginning.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that's all manageable.
Yes. It's all manageable. I know it is. In fact, you can probably stay in an RV park and then come out with your card and do whatever you're going to do. And the dog can be with you. It's all perfect. I can feel you doing it, Mike. Now I'm going to give you to Ken for your musical message, and I'm so excited for you. I'm going to be sending you all sorts of good thoughts. Yes.
Hi, Mike.
Hi.
The I just about everybody who calls, I feel this about, so I'm not singling you out or anything, but I'm pretty sure you already know. You just want somebody else to confirm it for you. I feel like
validation.
You know. Yeah, and I get it. Validation is a really nice thing. The song that was playing was "Goodbye Yellow Brick Road" by Elton John. You know that one?
I don't know the song in particular. I mean, I can look it up on YouTube when we get off the phone, but
Goodbye Yellow Brick Road, where the dogs of society howl. You can't plant me in your penthouse. I'm going back to my plow. And you're not going to a plow, but you're leaving the society and the penthouse kind of thing and going to do
corporate
what
sales.
What you're driven to do. And I feel like this is, here's your validation. I just feel like you already know. And the thing is, this doesn't have to be forever. And this doesn't have to be the end-all, be-all thing. But I also feel like if you don't do it, you're always going to wonder.
Oh, and I've already got plans to scale it. Again, bring veterans in who might be looking for an opportunity. Take, kind of franchise it in that regards, get them all set up. It's a low startup cost, but to get somebody who's got the hustle and, wants to change their life, I think it can happen for them as well.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And I think you can, and I can just tell that you can make it happen. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Yes, I've done this before but with a brick and mortar, and that was just kind of a prelude to building that. When I was in small business, it was just my college. I call it my college after dropping out of finance school and doing a couple different brick and mortar businesses.
Perfect.
Okay.
Awesome. And
well,
Ken,
Ken,
I know you're a big music guy. If you like genre bending music, check out a band that I just saw in Phoenix. They're German, called Electric Callboy.
Electric Callboy. Okay.
Yes. They are. It's techno metal, but it's with pop. It's interesting.
Interesting. I'll have to look them up.
Awesome. Thank you both so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you for calling us, Mike. Have a great evening and lots of success.
Thank you.
Definitely.
Thank you both. Thank you.
You're welcome.
You're welcome. Bye-bye, Mike.
Bye-bye.
347-838-9903 is the number. Interesting question in the chat room. Guest 125 says, "Wow, Toni in the picture looks just like my deceased aunt. Maybe she has a message for me."
Let's see. Deceased aunt. Okay, I'm going to take that to mean that your aunt is about to pick your card. Okay. This is a time of your life when you are coming into your own. The steps you are taking to improve your career or your business are on the right track, and your life also. And as you move forward, courageous choices are necessary and will be rewarded. Continue forging ahead and don't be discouraged by temporary delays. Also, don't allow anyone to hinder your progress. Consider working in partnership with those whose skills complement your own. Joint endeavors can help you achieve your goals. Negotiations will move smoothly at this time, and the angels want you to know that there is so much hope for your future. potential, and you are going to be very successful. And that was from your aunt. And I don't know her name, but she picked the card. Now I'm going to give you to Ken.
Well, and the song that was playing when we started with this this question was the Beatles' "Obla Di Obla Da." Life goes on.
I love that. Life goes on.
And I feel like the message here is that it's time to focus on you. Your aunt lived her life. And it's time for you to live yours. And I hope that helps and makes sense. And I want to try and get back to the phone. The chat room person says that her name was Noreen.
Noreen, thank you.
I hope that helps, and we're going to try and cram in another call or two here before Blog Talk Radio cuts us off. Hi, thanks so much for hanging on. What's your first name?
My name is Sharon.
Hi, Sharon. Where are you calling from?
Hi, how are you? New York.
And how can we help you tonight?
Okay, I just wanted to know if my spirit guide or angels have any messages for me, because I'm always talking and praying to my angels. So.
Okay. I will get into that. Spirit guide angel deck here, guidance, and the first card that they have picked for you is celebration. They're saying that you're about to come in a most wonderful time of your life. The difficulties will fall away, and you can finally see the light at the end of the tunnel. You can think of that as a star that you can wish on. The timing is right for you to make long-term plans for a joyful future, and you can have faith that everything is going to turn out beautifully. And with that, another card popped out, so I have to give you two. A new beginning. You are at the beginning of a wonderful journey. There's no need for you to have any fear, as guardian angels are walking beside you every step of the way. And I can feel how much they love you, honey. I know that you're very much in touch with them. I mean, I can see that. You have unique gifts to offer the world, and if you will just free yourself from anything that's holding you back, new opportunities will present themselves if you truly believe. And I do feel like you have a heightened intuition that you could probably do readings if you don't already. That's what I'm feeling.
Yeah, I've been spiritual for about 60 years. I'm 68.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah,
you are highly qualified.
I just think it's beautiful. It's beautiful. It really is. Thank you so much for that.
You're welcome. And I'm going to give you to Ken for your musical message.
Hey.
Thank you for calling. Hon.
Thank you.
Hi, Sharon. The song that was playing when we picked up your call was Suspicious Minds by Elvis. Do you know that one?
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
This means a couple things to me. It's a little bit about, well, maybe more than a little, about what Toni and I were talking about earlier about instinct and intuition and trusting those things. And I feel like you know how to do that. Maybe you don't always want to, but you know how to do that. And once suspicion creeps into something, whether it's a relationship or a job or whatever, it's not going to leave. So you have to deal with it one way or the other. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think it's a lot of, choosing faith over fear, and just basically accepting people who they are, and knowing that you can't change anyone but yourself.
Yeah,
that's a tough one. That's a tough one.
And to be, and as you say quite eloquently, to be your authentic self, to be true to who you are. And, it's funny, I just must add this, I've read so much on NDEs and people who before they pass away or whatever, what they one biggest regret people have is that they were not authentic or true to themselves in life.
Wow.
So I think it's so important to be who you are and just, shine bright and just be kind, look to help other people. And when you do that, you help yourself as well. So, yeah.
I think a lot of people, when they think of this song, Suspicious Minds, they think of a relationship, a romantic relationship where one is suspecting the other of cheating. And I think, especially given what we've been talking about tonight, that we often have suspicious minds about ourselves and what we're really about versus what we want to be about, and what really motivates us, and if we're doing the right thing for the right reasons. And as humans, we can just spin ourselves crazy doing this kind of thing. And it's just about being mindful and, speaking your truth, living your truth, being who you are, trusting yourself.
And then sometimes I think you also question your intentions. Am I doing this out of ego? Am I doing this out of, sincerity or authenticity? People, kind of question their intentions, I think. But I think, I know for me, whatever I really do really, tries to come from a place of love and kindness and, trying not to judge, because I know people are, like that, like they say, hurt people, and it's the truth, so, that's my take on it.
Beautiful.
Well, thank you so much for calling us tonight, Sharon.
Thank you guys. I really enjoyed your show. Keep up the great work.
Thank you very much.
Call us again.
Have a good evening. Thank you.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
I was about to give out the phone number again, and we've only got a couple minutes before Blog Talk Radio will cut us off. I want to mention that apologies to everybody who's still on the line that we couldn't get through, and the extra question in the chat room, but Blog Talk Radio is going to cut us off here whether we're ready or not. Toni and I will be back 3 weeks from tonight. And if you don't want to wait that long, you can go to psychictapestry.com and click on our readers and healers, and I think it's our teachers and healers actually, and book a private reading. Otherwise, we'll see you back here 3 weeks from tonight. Thanks everybody for finding us tonight and for calling in, or just for listening, or for hanging out in the chat room. We really appreciate it. We love you guys. And Toni, thank you so much for giving up an hour of your Tuesday night for us.
Oh, I love it. Thank you for doing it with me, sweetie.
It's my pleasure. It's the highlight of my week. Thanks again, everybody.
Me too,
and we hope you have a great few weeks till we're back here again. Hope you have a great few weeks after we're back here, and on and on and on. But take care of yourselves, and make sure you remember to tell those close to you that you love them. Thanks.
Absolutely, and happy Halloween.
See you. Happy Halloween, and we'll see you in 3 weeks. Good night.
Yes. Good night.
Step into the world of power, loyalty, and luck.
I'm gonna make him an offer he can't refuse.
With family, cannolis, and spins mean everything.
Now, you wanna get mixed up in the family business.
Introducing The Godfather at ChumbaCasino.com. Test your luck in the shadowy world of The Godfather slot.
Someday, I will call upon you to do a service for me.
Play The Godfather now at ChumbaCasino.com.
Welcome to the family.
VGW Group. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+.